right now.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. The haters are happy cause the team playing crappy. Give the Clippers a cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all. Wearing bags on their head cause the team's playing bad. Let the haters cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. PH had to split, KB is too old. SNN can't do a pick and roll. They gave Peace a chance and Paul on the other hand. They never should let Mike Brown go. It's the most wonderful time of the year. The bench is not deep. Look at Jack, he's asleep. Let the haters cheer. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time. The year. Ooh-wee. This is for all the Laker haters. Thank you, Dr. Bone, 'cause if it wasn't for you, us haters wouldn't have anything to hate. Hate on haters.
They're playing your song, Makai.
All right.
All right, here we are, ladies and gents. So here we are. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Memorial Day weekend, which is pretty cool. Everybody's off. A lot of folks will be off from work today, tomorrow, and maybe Tuesday. Those that want to take off and get another day's rest for the days you have off. Sometimes you need an extra day. What's up, Makai? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, long time no see.
Glad to see you, man.
Good to see the whole crew.
Now you done a TV with us before, right?
No, this is my first time.
Oh,
here
this your
with the
first
setup.
time. Oh,
Yeah, this is good.
oh yeah. You see how you got it hooked up?
Yeah, he was here before we had all this here. So yeah, he was here over at the table.
Right.
When we were doing the Laker Lover, Laker Hater broadcast before we transformed it into Laker Haters Only, because once we transformed to Laker Haters Only, that's when we started doing the actual video format.
Right. Yeah, and I saw the first video. I think you guys did it with it was Hugh Van Douglas, and I think was this set up towards the back wall?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you guys changed it more.
Yeah, basically, before we didn't have anything on the back screen, basically showing the picture of the Inglewood. We didn't have anything there.
Oh.
And then we made a couple camera adjustments because I think the camera was coming, from over here. That was on this side of the room. And so we moved it to the other side of the room. I think it looks better on this side of the room right here.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Speaking of cameras, I need to turn something on real quick because otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us some kind of backdrop back there.
Yeah, I think last time I gave some like AI art that was on that back wall. I don't control what's on that screensaver anyway. But that's a little bit behind the scenes talk for those that can't be interested. But we're here for one thing and one thing only. That is to
We're only here for that.
well, no, that's not the only thing that we're here for, because we're just here to talk basketball right now, Space, and there ain't nothing to talk about when it comes to the Fakers, the Lakers.
But sir,
But we're all haters.
we're gonna hate on we're still gonna interject our hate for the Lakers too.
Oh yeah,
'cause a lot of things came up over the weekend about LeBron's and being most valuable player. What?
I mean,
Zapatero,
I've
all
been
that.
seeing a lot more hate when it comes to SGA. I've been seeing that hate.
Yeah, that's true. But that's winners always get hated on. So that's basically how it works. So
Right. Oh, and also congrats to SGA winning
most
MVP.
valuable player.
Yeah, the most valuable player. And I've been seeing just a lot of things that have not been factual when it comes to
Oh, is that right?
when it comes to this playoff run, especially with this series against Minnesota. I would say the amount of fouls and the amount of free throws that are being had.
So MVP could be most versatile performer.
Yeah, right.
Because he is getting a lot of free throw calls.
He's getting a lot of free throw calls, but when I look at the actual full picture when it comes to these 3 games that's been officiated, I think like the free throws, like the free throw attempts. If we're looking at game 1, you had 26 compared to 21, so that's like 5 more free throws. That was just in game 1. Game 2, they're actually about even. Minnesota had 2 more free throws compared to OKC. And then game 3, well, we don't even have to consider that because they 19 free throws compared to 17, and that was just a lights out performance for Minnesota.
It's the same difference in game 2 because by the time you're in the game, then yeah, the free throws equal out, but the game was over by another third quarter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If
And I could say that, and like we can even see that the Minnesota was actually ramping up in game 2 compared to where they were in game 1, where they started to actually shoot just a bit better. But still, OKC was shooting 50% from the field. I think also the main difference as well were the amount of turnovers, 14 turnovers compared to 9 from the Thunder. That was game 2. Game 1, like literally Minnesota were turnover machines, like 19 compared to 15.
Yeah, and this is why I think, most of the criticism is unwarranted on the free throw side. I mean, you had the team, shooting at home above 50% for 2 games in a row. There's no amount of free throws that's going to change the outcome of that when you have the counterparty shooting, sub 40. And that's just on, 2s and 3s combined.
Right.
So, call it what it is. If you want to call him the free throw merchant, I'm not opposed to that, obviously. We're seeing reminiscence of a play with, James Harden, 2017, 2018.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm seeing. But, in terms of respectable guards, obviously you have Jalen Brunson finishing through contact, not getting as much favorable calls. But honestly, if you look at it from the other side, it's an art. If you're able to get the ref on your side and, find, the angle and where the ref can't see the contact, I mean, hey,
This is Hugh from Boston. That's experience.
exactly.
And
That's
plus,
part of it why I think last week predicted the Timberwolves would win. I think they've got more experience than OKC. But they're too young. That's, no offense meant, guys, but they're too young.
No.
I think basketball players hit their peak 26 to 30.
Well, more punches from Carson. Well, I would counterpoint. Europe does not appreciate the art,
Oh, yeah.
and so America's going to learn when they go to Worlds and they go to Olympics that flopping is not appreciated worldwide. You have to earn what you get.
Not with the colorful ball.
Yes. And so, me personally, I've been, it's not just this. I'll be honest. Shea used to be a Clipper, so I followed him. So the league kind of set it up for Shea 3-4 years ago because it was obvious they were setting him up to be the next big thing because he was getting a lot of fouls as a second year, third year. And what have you really done to earn that? Well, the league said you're going to be a star. And that's pretty much it. So I can feel it for Minnesota. The other thing I was going to say about, shooting percentage-wise, but if you foul the other team's best options out, that will tend to hurt your shooting percentage. McDaniels, I think, fouled out, if not one game.
he fouled out like
Definitely fouled out two.
whether game 2 or game 1.
It was either game 1. I think it was game 1.
Okay.
And then I think Anthony Edwards, he had experienced some foul trouble.
Yeah, he had 5 fouls, so they were
He
making.
actually pulled that up right now.
Yeah, but again,
Have it right.
Hugh from Boston, Anthony Edwards, I think I just realized he's only 22.
Yep, 23 maybe.
Yeah, 20. Needs that experience.
He found out game one.
Needs to mature.
McDaniels found out game one.
Well, these are two. Well, actually, it's all. Well, New York is actually kind of the old team. I think these are three pretty young teams.
I agree.
Yeah. So.
Like the veteran of Minnesota is Randall.
Yeah.
Okay. And that may point to a point where I'm glad Ben's not here, so I don't have to apologize to him. More punches from Carson, because he made the point that the matchup that I said was going to be the problem, Nas Reed ain't bright enough to be a problem. I'm 6'11". I'm going to shoot threes when there's someone 6'4" me.
Makes
Like,
sense.
That makes sense, except it doesn't. And so, yeah. So they got hot last game. But if Minnesota does not learn how to take advantage of their advantages, they're doomed to fail. And this is a part of understanding that even though basketball is a sport, you're getting paid to do it. So you should be a pro about your approach.
Right, and they definitely showed that in game 3, where they shot 57% from the field. They actually learned to say, you know what? But they're still shooting over like 43s. But they
Yes.
shot 50%
They
from.
got hot.
Yeah, like literally, this was a hot game. This was a hot game 3 for them. Plus, they were able to force 15 turnovers and only have 10.
Well,
So
it was a must game 3 for them.
Yes.
yes,
They had to win.
they had to win. Otherwise, it was looking bad. If you go
It
down
was
3,
pretty much over.
Yeah, it was pretty much over if they didn't win this game. They played Monday, so basically, let's see if OKC can actually make those adjustments coming into game 4 in Minnesota. Have less turnovers, take care of the ball a lot more, because they got out-rebounded heavily, 31-50.
Yeah, I think the main takeaway from all this that people seem to underestimate is that going into the end of the season, the Timberwolves were 17-4, for the last 21 games. And, prior to that, with some relevant playoff experience, I mean, you're going up against the likes of prime Luka Doncic, Kyrie, someone, who can show you, the mastery and behind facilitating the ball. That combo is going to prepare you for anything in the future, especially when you got a guy with grit like Randall on your team. I'm sorry, to me, Cat is soft. Like, it's just what it is, I'm glad they traded him over to somewhere where they can.
He definitely soft because like he's showing that in this Pacers series, he's soft.
Right. So,
Well, I think also Gobert played pretty well third game.
yeah.
Rebounds, everything else.
I don't understand where this
I
unwarranted.
feel better about that. Okay. So, good point. I'm going to come back to the Randall. This is, if there is a horrible trade, well, there's both potentially the worst trade ever in the NBA and maybe the most balanced trade in the NBA, all represented in this game. But I did make the point that, they won't be able to match up with Gobert, so I feel good that Gobert played well. It's just Nas Reed.
Yeah, but it's
really
the only
disappointed.
game he's played well. He did not play well the first 2 games.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Well, when you turn the ball over a lot, he's not gonna spend a lot of time on the court. Okay. So yes, Cat is soft, and this is the Reggie Miller, Chuck Pearson situation where they traded away Chuck Pearson to basically, hey, we're handing the team over to you, Reggie Miller. Hey, we're trading away Cat because Cat's an idiot. It's your team, Anthony Edwards. You're getting Julius Randle in return, who also had. We heard things Julius Randle had performed well when he was in New York. I sure didn't. And so somehow these guys got inspired when they got this trade, so they both are kind of performing pretty well.
Yeah.
Randall kind of disappeared the second half of game 2, but he kept him in the game first half.
My account for that is I think what we're going against here is the coaching styles in terms of volume. Tom Thibodeau is a coach for the Knicks. He's not going to sub out the center. He's going to get more shots. He's going to get more looks. He's going to get more handles down the court. Because who's going to tell him otherwise in order to, sub him out in order to get him in when the coach that was responsible for, on the side, maybe injuring Derrick Rose, playing him with a minute and a half left in the game. He's going to get more volume out of his shots. No one's there to compete with him. Julius Randle, I mean, you could make the argument that, under correct circumstances, substitutions can be made because 1 minute he's hot, 20 points into the first 2 quarters, and then you score 3 for the last 2.
That's the typical Julius Randle game. Okay, so I think the problem that Minnesota had with Cat is his propensity to find ways to put himself out of games. Like, hey, I'm gonna get 6 fouls in 4 minutes, sort of stuff. So he just was not we talk about, age. He was just not a professional basketball player. And I think they're wore thin on Minnesota. That's the problem. I never argued the talent. I'm also not gonna argue whether or not he's mentally fragile. And that was potentially represented by the fact that he would foul himself out of games, or he would have. He had dumb fouls they were calling out versus Indiana, where he just throws the elbow out. You're important to your team. You got to stay in the game, and so it's tough when someone is.
He's always been like throwing those bows when he be trying to back people down. He always been throwing elbows. It's just that like every now and again he do get called for it, but it's been kind of egregious as of late, where it's just like his basketball IQ, like it gets questioned when you're just making dumb mistakes like this. It gets questioned.
It could be the Lakers, but
Well, you also go through Julius. So the other thing, Julius Randle, he was handed the team in New York, and he just did not. So I think they both work better because if you look now, they're definite betas. And Brunson's number 1 in New York. Anthony Edwards is number 1 in Minnesota. They don't have the pressure of being the alphas. Julius Randle was supposedly 1B in New York. Cat was supposedly actually 1A in Minnesota. I don't think that worked well for them. I think it works better for them when they're in the shadows.
Yeah, that was the main differentiator with that trade. I think it was more so because of their comfortability with their tenure at that team. It was miscommunication on who was the guy. So when you put them into a new environment, yeah, they could be the guy, but you're not going to overstep somebody who's been, playing on that plane for the last 3 years. It's just what it is.
Right, and I look at the plus and minus for the game 3 between Timberwolves and the Thunder. Like almost everybody on the Timberwolves is a plus.
Well, they won by 42.
Yeah, but I was just, Hugh from Boston, I was just looking at that. But Mike Conley has not had a good series, has not been playing well at all.
Yes.
And I'll take back that age thing. In my opinion, I think he's a little too old.
Thank you.
All right, I think he's 37. Yeah, he's on the other side of the curve. It's experience, it's maturity, it's not just age. But he has not played well this series or any of the series.
No.
He's been the weak link, my opinion.
Right, and Rudy, he was a plus. He had 7 rebounds and he only had 7 points. So,
Wait, how many block shots? How many intimidations?
let's see.
Because that's his
And
real
how many
job.
rebounds?
He had
7
one,
rebounds.
He had 1 block and 2 steals.
I'll take those 2 steals. I know he took the ball out of SGA's hand I think he got fouled.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that was early in the first quarter, middle of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, something like that.
Yeah, and SGA, he couldn't get into rhythm at all. 4 for 13, 2 for 5, 4 for 4 from the free throw. Only scored 14 points, but he had 4 turnovers.
Which is a lot for your starting
And
point.
Jalen Williams also had 4 turnovers. He's supposed to be the Robin, right?
Well, I think Van made a point about Jalen Williams. He's questioning whether or not Jalen Williams has the mental toughness to actually warrant the press he's getting. And what's really annoying to me personally, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, is when they threw Chet Holmgren into hey, there we go, these are the 3 that are leading OKC. And I'm like, Chet, who cost you 2 games in the first round, who I don't trust on the free throw line at any point in the game. Cool, you got some blocks or whatever, but really, they don't look to you to carry the team, definitely not offensively. That personally, like I said, just annoyed me. Hey, if he comes out and he wins game 4 for him, cool. But I have not been impressed. The Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, hey, they're going to revolutionize the NBA. I'm like, look, I watched Ralph Sampson. I'm old enough to have seen that. I'm like, I've seen 7'4" guys before. 7'4" thin guys, you're not impressing me. 7'2" thick guys, okay, here we go.
Right, that's because literally, they're too small weight-wise.
Yes.
To actually make a difference. If you were the size of a Jokic,
yes,
and able to do what you're doing, then I'd be a little bit more impressed. But because you're a 7-foot twig, there's only so much you're gonna be able to do, especially when you're supposed to be a center. I get that we're in the era where literally big men live outside of the paint. But when you're a big man in the NBA, you have to be able to have a paint presence. Otherwise, what are you going to do when it comes to rebounds? You're going to have your point guard getting
King of
rebounds.
which?
Here, memories from the past.
Yeah.
Mel Counts traded to the Lakers. 7'4", nothing.
Thank you. Memories of the present. Mitchell Robinson, game changer. They try to
who's
find
that?
ways to get him out the game because he's 6'11", but he's a big dude. You can't move him. I can
Right.
get an offensive rebounds. You get extra shots. I love seeing my friend call me to talk about this doctor one time. He was saying, and it's like, hey, analytics is being disproven. Hey, Brunson lives in the lane.
Well,
Brunson
Shea lives in the lane.
They may live
Yeah.
in the lane,
I would
but,
just-
but Mitchell Robinson can't stay on the court because he can't shoot a free throw.
That's how they try to get him out. If he makes them, he stays in. If he doesn't, but the upside of, and this is the classic thing about hack or whomever. My Doc always made this point. If you foul him early in the quarter, you're putting your team in a penalty.
Right.
So as Thibodeau, I'm gonna put him in early so they foul him a couple times. So Brunson gets free throws at the end of the game. Like I mean, hey, if you win with it, cool, but it can be a losing strategy.
Right.
well,
And-
all it reminds me of is we're back to the Charles Barkley physique,
Thank you.
rebounding, everything else.
So
That's right.
So now that we're on the actual Pacers Knicks, I mean, like we can definitely talk about that game one collapse.
And
That
that's
Well,
what it was.
I
that
have one opinion, if I can interject.
Go ahead.
Is it Rick Carlisle?
Yes, for the
Carlisle,
Pacers. Yes.
Coached the last period and the overtime. Best coach of the year, bringing them back the way he did.
Right.
Every decision he made was right. That's all I can say.
Right, and literally it was a meltdown because literally what the Knicks can do wrong, they did wrong because you had two opportunities
To salt that game away.
to put that game away with Karl Anthony Towns at the free throw line missing a free throw, and
92% for the playoffs.
right, and we had someone else at the free throw line,
And Nobi.
Anunoby, who missed a free throw. Where one free throw would have put you up by 4. The other free throw would have put you up by 3.
Oh, by 3?
By 3.
Okay.
Because that was a 123-125.
Okay,
That's
okay.
that's how they tied the game at the end. When
Oh, because he was taking that 3. You're right. Yeah, he thought he was taking the 3.
and then he pulled off the Kevin Durant.
Right.
That toe. The elongated toe that was on the line, in which sent the game to overtime. So.
Well, what you're gonna witness in
But
this
literally,
series,
I think the one savior that you can have for this game, the reason that the Pacers won this game, is when one player literally goes nuclear in like the last 5 minutes. And that one player only was,
I forget his name, but
What was
he's
that?
a 2-guard. Yeah, Naismith. Yeah. His dad created basketball, so he should be good.
8 for 9 from the 3-point line. At one point, he had he had Hart on skates on that last one. Literally, he should have switched his shoes right then and there. Because he slipped twice. One on that play, the other time when he almost turned the ball over because he slipped. Going for the out of bounds. He slipped. Almost cost him that. They were lucky he got to that.
all we're seeing right now is a team that knows what their role is. I mean, we witnessed this in a couple of comebacks, I think, in the series that they had against Boston last year. Now, granted, it was extremely early on, I think in Game 3, where they had a couple of comebacks, but, you know, in Boston fashion, under Joe Mazzulla, you're not gonna win that series.
I mean,
No? Well, I'm glad to hear you agree with me.
Oh, absolutely.
He should be
Yeah, no, I-
fired.
literally,
And
like,
going
He's
back,
been on this warpath. for
Wait,
2
you
weeks.
think Joe Mazzulla should be fired?
yeah.
What?
yes, like, I mean, he
Yes.
believes Joe Mazzulla to be
Cost him
fired.
the game.
Mostly because, like,
cost him the
literally,
series this year.
Well, why not go to
Literally.
why not go to an arcade?
literally, game
I'll take
one.
him if you don't want him. I mean,
All right, I'll give them to you.
we'll give you Mitchell Johnson, too.
No, yep.
Literally, game 1 and game 2 were blown by Boston with 20-point leads.
Why didn't they drive? Joe doesn't like it.
Yeah,
Let's go to what I was going to say. Let's go to the penny arcade and throw up the basketballs. And if you take 60 shots, you can maybe score 180 points. But didn't quite work, did it, Joe?
Right. Yeah,
Well-
the adjustment should have been made off of the threes.
And this is a comment about professional basketball, old school basketball. Hey, we saying to talk about if you foul Mitchell Robinson, what New York is trying to do is get to the line. Yeah, we can chuck some threes, but if we are on that free throw line, consistent offense. You're up 20. They're giving you the lane. In the worst case, you're at home. You're gonna get free throws. You just need 6 points to win the game.
Yeah, but
I'll
what
keep
was
chucking them. Yeah.
but what was the analytics for that game? I mean,
The
basically it was 99% they couldn't win. If you
Literally,
follow the analytics. But the coach didn't do that. Whereas Missoula and, in my opinion, J.J. Redick, both out of the same school, both deserve the same position at the bar, not at the basketball game.
Right. Right. So literally, like the Knicks for game one, they had literally 100% chance when they were up by 8, going into up by 9, with like a minute left.
Sounds familiar.
It was.
Yep.
And literally, we say familiar because literally this happened, I believe, in 1990 with Reggie Miller. Literally.
9 points in 8 seconds.
Yeah.
That's what
And
it
Tyrese
was.
Halliburton did the same thing. Okay, so I have to interject. More punches from Carson. So you talk about coaching. Thibodeau's notorious defensive coach. You're up by what? You're up 5 points, 8 points with a minute left. A guy is 8 for 9.
Subbing the bigs.
What should you do? Or what shouldn't you do?
Play small ball. No, I'm just kidding. Makes sense to me.
Of all the people I'm going to give a shot, the one person who's not going to get a shot,
Is
Naismith.
Naismith. Literally, he should have been double.
he should have been double.
He should
Give
have
the
been-
other guy a layup. I don't care. Somebody did this. Someone gave up a layup because they were up by 5. I don't know if it was OKC or if it was Indiana. I think it was Indiana. They're up by 5. They gave up a layup. We're up 3. We're going to get free throws.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
Yeah.
the 2 doesn't kill us.
Yeah.
That was good coaching.
Yeah, that was game 2.
Yeah, that was good coaching.
That was game 2. When
So,
Naismith
so
actually-
Thibodeau to me doesn't get a pass because I'm like, dude, the one dude who could beat you, well, there were 2, but Hollenberg beat you at the end. But the one dude who was beating you, you let beat you.
Right.
That's bad
Yeah,
coaching.
that's why I indicated I brought some visual aids today.
What you got here?
Oh, shit.
Show us what you got.
You could read it. You could read it for coaching. I did.
Red on back.
Okay, that's big red, right?
Just thought I.
That's it.
That's a hard cover, too.
Huh?
That's a hard cover.
That's
too.
probably older than you are, Makai.
Yeah, probably. Times 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, that's just my opinion of JJ and Missoula.
It's just a sell job. I mean, Adam Silver probably made some calls, It's like, hold on.
Well,
we can
I
see
think
it.
Boston should still have the coach that went to Houston.
We're not going to give a guard sympathy just because he took a pay cut. That's probably what we
Right,
said.
but and like literally from game 1, Brunson was literally doing anything that he wanted to in the paint. He
Wait,
was
whoa,
terrible.
whoa. They were by 9
by
with
9 with-
50
They were
That's
up
what
by
I'm saying.
9.
Three.
Literally. Bang!
with a foul?
No
No
foul.
foul call. So now you're up 6. With
Wait,
50
what
seconds
happened?
left. Cat missed a free throw and Anobi missed a free
I only saw
throw.
the last 2 points. I didn't see this.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what are they rushing? Wait, whoa. They're up by 8 with 40?
Yeah.
seconds left. That's what I'm saying.
Great.
Horrible coaching.
They're up
That's
by
why I was
8
saying,
with
great
40 seconds
coaching at
left.
the end of the
you
game.
have 100%, 96% chance to win this game.
Okay,
96%.
where's Naismith? Where's Naismith?
Right there.
He's running up the court. We give him the ball.
From
3.
half
You
court.
didn't cover.
Bang.
There's another foul they didn't call in New York.
5.
That should have been a 4-point play.
34 seconds. You call a timeout. You I think that's the last timeout.
It may have been.
No, I'm sorry.
Who called that?
I think they ran out of timeouts. They ran out of.
No, they got one timeout.
What the?
And Anobi got a foul call he didn't deserve because he muffed the ball.
No, and they actually.
So now
reversed
he's
it.
gonna. So you have to assist. So this is where you talk about whether or not these guys are, have the nerve, the intestinal fortitude to actually win. Okay, and Anobi played in Toronto. He wasn't. I don't think he was active when they won the championship.
No.
but he was.
No.
He was on the team. Okay, Siakam was active.
Yes.
Okay, so. Okay, so they overturned that. That was huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Halliburton.
Okay,
Bang.
hey,
Cross.
the guy who's
Bang.
hitting you. You didn't switch.
2-point game.
He's hit
Yeah,
three
but-
3-pointers in less than 40 seconds, and you keep letting him. And he's gonna hit another one because you don't double him.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, the ref overturned that. That was a great call by
That was a great call
Carlisle
'cause
to
it was
review
not.
it.
Yeah, that was.
And they had another review play in the overtime,
that was
only because this
that
one
was a
worked.
great.
Look.
And listen, and right
That
there,
should've been a
this,
turnover.
and this
See,
is
they
where
doubled
Hart
him.
almost turned it over.
Foul. So here's why Cat's not in Minnesota. I'm a 92% free throw shooter in the playoffs. 92%.
But what's the free throw percentage in the season?
I'm not sure. Probably high 70s, but he's been shooting it well, high 70s, maybe low 80s.
Yep.
I make the first. You gotta get people to give you a break. Cat gave him a break.
3-point game with 14 seconds left.
You make this, it's a 2
9 for
possession game.
10 from the free throw today. Literally showing that stat has always been a curse. Because somehow, some way, they end up missing the second one. Whenever you show that stop. And literally, Obi Toppin, he had a couple just blown dunks.
Yeah, I saw one.
Oh, God, that was a bad one.
But Anunoby had a blown dunk too, I think.
Yes.
Blown layup,
They
whatever.
got a
it was.
game today, right?
Blown layup.
They're playing at 5.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, they're playing at 5 o'clock.
At Indiana?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's over. It's over. Yes.
No, Indiana gave up game 3 to Boston in that prior series. So,
So
they're
now,
young,
so now,
miss.
so now, long.
So they're young, and so as Hugh says, young teams, older teams know, hey, these opportunities don't come.
So
I don't know.
now, Indiana,
I like
The
Indiana.
Pacers have some experience.
So now Indiana
they got
has
some.
no
They got some.
timeouts. New York's have blown their timeout. They
Hey, he's open.
They have some
on the ground. Anunoby fouls before he gets the
Better
shot
option.
up.
Better option than letting him shoot it. You're gonna make both.
Makes the first
Even
free
if they
throw.
lost the game, this looks bad for New York. He got fouled before he stepped on the line.
Yep, he got fouled before he stepped out of bounds.
He was actually out.
Yeah, he was out of bounds, but he got fouled before he stepped out of bounds. Bars.
They probably would have argued he got pushed out though.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you can say that. And that's what happened. That's what the review was. Wow, no, they didn't review it. They couldn't review it because New York don't have no timeouts.
8 for 9 from 3-point.
If they make a challenge.
But going back again to the youth thing, I mean, OKC is the youngest team.
How about that, y'all?
All right, my opinion, Indiana and Minnesota are in the middle, and New York is the oldest.
It's the oldest, yes.
Yeah. 1 point game. With 12.4 seconds left. You trap Brunson. He got lucky with that.
Yeah, because that should have been a turnover.
That should have been.
If outside Siakam, even Miles Turner is younger than 28. Siakam is the oldest thing on Indiana. They have McConnell too, coming off the bench. So, but 5 of their top 7 players are probably younger than 28.
He
Miss.
missed the first free throw. Literally donuts. He needed a baddie in the front row to make that first free throw. He should have had that Asian baddie at the game.
Where's Anne Hathaway?
Right. And Hathaway or that
Stress.
or that one K-pop girl.
Oh, K-pop. Okay.
Now he makes the second one. No timeouts. Halliburton with the
Now
ball.
this is some balls right here.
Boom.
Hey,
Crosses
hey.
up.
No,
Gets
I'm
back
not gonna
up.
take that. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go for the
High
win.
bounce.
Got it.
In.
How many games have we seen that ball bounce like that?
Does a Reggie Miller
I know
choke?
Kawhi Leonard did one.
There's 3 or 4 I can remember.
Yeah.
that it
That
did.
was with Kawhi Leonard. It was like 3 bounces.
Yeah, I'm going for the win. I'm going for the win.
So
Anyway,
now we're in
but-
overtime.
but bad coaching.
They go back and forth of them scoring. Remember, Cap is probably the hottest hand from the 3-pointer on the Knicks right now. Brunson, he's 1 for 6 from the 3-point line. Just to give some
Context.
context. Sorry, thank you.
But how many free throws has he taken? But that's my point. It's like, look,
14.
Brunson has literally lived at the free throw line.
yes. So you can offset threes, and I'd rather get to the free throw line because that means I'm getting the other team in foul trouble.
And here,
Uh-oh.
Halliburton.
Uh-oh.
3, bang,
No, thank
topping with the dunk. The mega dunk without one blown dunk. Literally, Toppin,
Yeah.
you're about to see, is going to have 2 key dunks that actually seal the game.
But I think what
This
he
was the
says
first one.
is true. I mean, coaching can kill a good team.
Literally, like
I am.
Coaching styles can kill a good player.
Brunson literally got
This
to
is
the
actually
rim.
also true. That's probably what happened to LeBron because I think JJ's killed his coaching talents.
Yeah.
Killed his
No, I
playing
mean,
style.
Literally, Brunson was literally living in the lane. And that was just bad.
Well, you look at it. Phil Jackson took who's the guy? Ariza
Yes.
from Orlando. He couldn't play on Orlando,
right.
and he became a star. You know, he was third wheel, whatever.
Good
Because of-
coaches
yeah.
utilize the players' talents.
Yes.
And he was,
Bad coaches have their system, and
and he
God forbid that player who doesn't follow that system, because that's all they care about, and that's run back to Missoula and his threes.
Now, right here is when they said it was out on the Pacers, when it was actually out on Brunson, they challenged this play right here.
Challenge number 2.
Because Indiana had a challenge.
Right.
And so they
Might as well
reversed
use it.
that, and it's Pacers ball. So now they're doing that spread where basically everyone's spread
So
out.
where did Rick Carlisle play basketball?
What?
Where did Rick Carlisle play
Oh, we
basketball?
topping. Boom. With the double clutch.
Where did Rick Carlisle play basketball?
Wait, did whom?
Where did Rick Carlisle? The coach of Indiana?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know if he played. I think he was the assistant coach when Larry Bird got the job.
That's my point. I thought
But
you were
20,
make the
25 years ago.
Yeah, with Indiana, yeah.
Yeah, because I think Bird interviewed with the job and got all of the coaching notes from Carlisle. And that was his presentation to get the job.
Very good. Yeah. So the Larry Legend connection. Yeah,
Yep.
I thought you were gonna
Yep.
mention that.
Right, because Larry Bird was the coach for the Pacers. And Carlisle, I believe, was the assistant coach at the time.
Right, because well, no, I think he hired him. I think Carlisle was at Oregon, Portland.
Did he give him the ball?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
because
did.
it's 2/10 of a second.
2/10 of a second. Literally, it was a free turnover.
Here, take it, but you're gonna lose either way.
Literally. So yeah.
My memory could be fuzzy on that, but
He
I
shot the
think that
ball.
Right.
Anyway, so
I just thought the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and the overtime was a coaching masterpiece.
great coaching for Carlisle. Thibodeau got out-coached.
And then literally we saw like those 10 seconds in overtime where Brunson takes an ill-advised 3-pointer. I'm guessing he was thinking if they were going to foul him to stop him from shooting 3, let me shoot it early, in which he completely airballed.
Which is also good coaching on Carlisle's perspective, and more punches from Carson, because at worst, you're going to have a tie. You're going to have time.
Right.
So I'm not going to challenge. If you make it, cool. We're going to get a shot at it. If not, we go to double overtime.
Right. And so
I'm not going to give you a 4-point play like, Giannis did.
Right,
Um,
and so he airballs it. They get the rebound, kick it to Cat, who then takes the shot, probably your best shooter on the court at the moment, and he hits the front of the rim.
Because he's Carl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
Yeah. That's not, he's going to be a 40% shooter when the pressure's not on. He's going to be a 4% shooter when the pressure's on.
Right.
Yep, and
Yeah, clutch time does matter. So you see people's percentages change.
that's why when we talk about Halliburton being quote unquote
Overrated. I've heard so much about that this week.
literally in the clutch, he's one of the best shooters within like the last
But didn't Brunson win Clutch Player of the Year?
yes he did.
Huh, okay. Just saying.
It's a season award, I think.
Your season's gonna be over.
Yep, and literally that game begins in 17 minutes.
Yeah.
In which let's see if the Knicks can avoid going down 3-0 to the Pacers in Indiana, where I think from what people have been talking about, Pacers have been playing not too well at home, and Knicks have played phenomenal on the road.
But not too well at home.
Right.
So basically, Indiana's got 4 away games, and Knicks have 3 home games.
Yep.
It's too much on the line, man. I mean, in my perspective, if the finals boils down to the matchups that we expect being, you know, for me personally, I have the Pacers and OKC. Honestly, it's just going to boil down to rotations. I mean, in most cases, when you have, you know, guys coming off of the bench in depth, such as, you know, I'm sure Naismith he's a starter though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but you have veteran presence in McConnell and, you know, Siakam, you know, playoff and championship pedigree. You know, you just can't trump that, you know,
Yes.
in a finals matchup.
Yes. Naismith is a starter, and McConnell is coming off the bench with Obi Toppin as well as Thomas Bryant.
Another former Laker.
Right.
Yeah.
Lakers seem to be good at developing players outside of their own system, huh? Golly.
Gee, do you think maybe it's the Lakers system?
Nah, there's no
You
way.
think maybe it's the Lakers GM?
I do, but that's
So
my own problem.
Basically, LeBron's a horrible GM.
No, the other guy there, what's his name? The wannabe,
Pelinka.
Pelinka. I mean, he still thinks he's back in the Fab Five days.
Pelinka, Pachenko.
Well, he was the Fab Six, right? 7th.
He was on the team,
I know.
and I think he redshirted 1 year or something, and he ended up captain to the team after they left.
After the talent left.
Yeah, after the talent left.
Yes. So,
But, yeah, but how did Pelinka get his job?
Kobe Bryant's agent.
Thank
So
you
he
very
got-
much.
Yeah,
That's all.
Kobe Bryant tying. How did JJ Redick get his job?
LeBron.
This is the
Gee,
way the
you see
Lakers
any
work.
tendency here?
Yes. You don't get you get jobs based on nepotism, not based upon competency.
Yeah, family-oriented hires has never worked out for any team that I've ever rooted for, aka the Steelers. But I mean, not the Steelers, sadly. But in terms of the Lakers situation, you know, you can't have leadership if you have bias. Like, it's just not gonna happen. You know, when you have an interpersonal relationship that isn't connected by the job that you came to do, but more so the respect you have for the person, you know, that those social tendencies are gonna show up in the game. You know, you're gonna start doing things that don't fit the model of the players that you've now put into your system to build up, because you're revolving your system around favoritism. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't see that on the Lakers. I'm sorry. I mean, Bronny definitely deserves to be on that team. He's a future All-Star.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Guaranteed, you're gonna go from LeBron to Bronny and maybe bring Bryce in too.
Right.
So yeah, I think the Lakers are setting him up for at least 2 or 3 more dynasties.
Yeah, Dalton Connect too. He's a superstar.
Okay, Dalton Connect. There we go. Now that's the one we've argued, Dalton Connect, on this show. And I'm like, if there's anything on the Lakers I think any other team wants, it's a 6'7", 230-pound 2-guard who can stroke it.
Right.
So he may not give you much on defense, but you're gonna have a hard time posting him up because he's pretty big, and he has proven he can shoot.
Yeah.
So, and you can tell he's a good player because JJ Redick wouldn't play him.
Right.
Yeah, but he's what in the Lakers? The 4th best player?
I mean, how many times have we seen this story with the Lakers?
It depends. That's actually a good question. It depends on how you categorize a good player. Like, Reggie Miller is not someone who's with dribble, drive, whatever, but you could run an offense around him. Steph Curry can dribble, whatever, but he runs that same sort of system Reggie does. I think with Dalton Connect, you can run one of these connected offenses based around him running around, you know, getting screens and other people feeding off that, which is why he doesn't fit on Lakers.
Yeah.
Because they do heavy, you know,
Again,
dribble.
back
Yeah.
to my theory.
Yeah.
If the
It just
coaches
doesn't
and the
fit,
team
yeah.
style can make or break any player, or pretty much any player. And the Lakers seem to be really good at that.
Yeah, I think the Clippers could use Dalton Connect. I think we'd be willing to trade James Harden and
Well, who wouldn't?
thank you. But I also give him the little two guard too, Norman Powell. I've learned enough about these players. Hey, if you want them, you can have them. I'll take this kid in a draft pick. Let's go. Here we go. Yeah. But no. So I don't cry about the Lakers. I sit there and look at them like you said. You know, nepotism, none basketball. Well, I guess.
Yeah, but look at it from the top. From the buses on down. I mean, the buses are alive now, the second generation family.
Yes.
And actually, they had to go third because they had to get rid of Jimmy.
Yes.
So
I
you know,
love when Jimmy was involved in basketball
So-
operations.
it's just a disaster at the upper level, the whole team. And somebody once asked, I think Palinka, as to what was his greatest accomplishments in trades and whatever. Well, Anthony Davis and the new guy. But they traded Anthony Davis to get the new. So that's all he's got. For 8-9 years.
Yeah, you can call Jordan Farmar back. He'll play still.
Yeah. Magic can probably still play.
Yeah, Steve Blake. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, I just know Jerry West is not coming through those doors anytime soon. If he does, you may want to run. But yeah, Jerry West was the architect of Lakers' success for 2 generations, and so I'm like, yeah, I love Jerry, but I'm glad he's no longer with the Lakers.
Well, the difference is, you want to talk about, in essence, breeding. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but there wasn't really a system that was formulated, in the glory days of what you'd consider the Laker dynasty, where, you had players getting bought out. I mean, the only superstar that was really bought out, I think, was Kareem. Everybody else was drafted, during that time. Cooper, Worthy, Magic. Those were homebred, and Kobe.
Well, they got Wilt for a year or two. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we can leave him
disrespect to
there.
the era,
I was just
man.
making a point. We can leave him there.
Right. Like,
They did bring in McAdoo and Thompson because they weren't. I mean, these were important pieces off their bench, but the primary pieces, I think, it's
Primary
draft-
pieces.
It's kind of like OKC. They drafted them in,
right.
but I would say Kareem's a pretty important piece. And then
No,
people
correct,
like to
yeah.
Sell Kareem, but without Kareem, that team does. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that team goes anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, you can't bring outsiders
Shaq.
into the market and expect them not to exploit the market more than care about the Lakers. Everybody's coming to LA. They're not. They're there to get their rocks off. They're not there to be a Laker. You know what I mean?
Well, you bring up an interesting point
Right.
because when you're drafting people, you're doing it one by one and bringing them onto the team, into the culture.
Right.
And they're learning how to play within the culture.
Right.
They're not bringing their own culture, their own problems to the team.
Right.
So I would certainly agree with you there.
So yeah, I think Boston has, because there are a lot of homegrown, so they've learned to operate in that. That's Jack up 3 cultures. They did bring on the big dude though. He was drafted, the unicorn.
Luke Cornell. Oh,
The unicorn,
Porzingis.
Porzingis. So he was not. And
Yeah,
Al
but he-
Horford was around for years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
But
was
they Horford assimilated into the system.
Well, he already had pedigree. I mean, he was on that 2014 Hawks team that was somehow first in the East that year and got swept by the Cavs. But
But he did win a championship in college. So, or 2. Yeah. So,
Yeah, but all thinking about it, most of Boston has been players drafted.
right.
Started even with Bill Russell and before him.
Oh, bringing up Bill Russell, you make a good point about, and I never argue Bill Russell because what was Bill's record in the finals?
Playoff?
In finals. Because I thought of, because we talk about.
He's 11 out of 13.
Okay.
One of them was against St. Louis, and they were in the finals, and he got injured. And they lost that series.
Okay.
I think that was 58, 59, somewhere in there. And then his first year coaching as player coach, they lost.
Okay.
But Philadelphia had the whacked out team. Luke Jackson, all kinds of players. It was Boston and Philadelphia was
Okay.
the
Because we have
rivalry
this
there.
discussion. I never really argue Mr. Russell, but there is one point that can be made. about in favor of Michael Jordan.
Okay?
He never lost in the final.
He just didn't get there enough.
But he never lost. It's
That's true.
However you want to put it. It's
That's
100%.
right.
That's the one argument.
Yeah, but if
you
I
have.
want to do it logically, then if I went to one finals and I won, then I'm perfect. Just
Well,
playing with your
in a-
mo.
in a multi-finals situation, he never lost. So I agree
Yeah.
with you. Yeah, if you go one,
Well, I mean, he destroyed his leg or something. I mean, it was not a little injury like here in the first one.
yeah.
And to be honest, I'd cut us some slack for being the first player coach.
Okay. But like I said, that would be the only argument that you could have, because yeah, if you've won that much, it's like, hey, I'm not gonna argue Bill Russell. But even okay, so
And
yeah,
I'm not belittling Michael Jordan. He was a great player.
yeah,
And he could have won more if he didn't decide to go play baseball.
Right.
But again, he had the same problem that Kobe never got over. First couple of years, he thought he could do it all himself. He needed to make the players around him better, which for all of the years, in my opinion, Kobe never did. All he did was complain about the players around him.
On the converse side, we're going to talk about this. He also had the detriment of having an ownership that was not dedicated to actually winning, because when you argue with your GM about players versus organizations winning championships, yeah, how many championships has Chicago won since Michael Jordan? I don't know if anybody else is aware of this, but yeah,
Like
Carlos
10.
actually
I don't think
argued
they haven't won anything. have they?
since Michael Jordan's at, and so this is the point Michael is making. Yes, make my life easy, I'll win championships for you, but without me, you will not win.
Right.
So yeah. So it
Oh, no,
was
great player, but that's how I measure it. Yeah, and I'm biased for Boston.
so anyway, but no. So I don't have any qualms about the Lakers finding themselves, out of. I don't think they have a number one pick this year.
No, they don't.
Which means they probably have one next year, because you can't trade away your number one picks in consecutive years. But this is the Cooper Flag sweepstakes year that you guys missed by one pick.
No, we're still getting him. You think that Adam Silver is going to allow the flag to go to the Mavs?
Do I think it's not going to look weird for that? Well, twofold. One thing is,
After that trade
well, that's the thing.
and the sympathy we get from Pop?
But that's the thing. Effectively, you made that trade, so the NBA made up for the trade by giving you the pick. So
It's a little bit deep. I think it's a humiliation ritual.
Yeah, as you can see, the Lakers don't have a.
We
first
need a
round.
forward. I don't know if you've seen it. I mean, I'm just saying.
You also-
nothing's off the table.
well, you do have.
We were slated to have the 14th pick, and we got
and you have
lottoed
a
to
second.
2.
And they're talking about you taking Dylan Harper. So, which I thought was kind of weird, because you have the dude from Sacramento, and they're like, Dylan Harper's a
Fox?
perfect fit. I'm like, but you need a 4, as you said. So,
It's all lined up.
I would actually take the guy who's projected to be the number 4 or whatever. He's Dylan Harper's teammate. He's 6'10",
Right.
swingman. So you can probably slot him in a few positions. Yeah, I would not. Me personally, if I'm San Antonio, I don't think I'm going. I mean, I like Dylan Harper, but I don't think I'm going with him for your team.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind like Ace Bailey. We definitely.
Is that the guy who's 6'10"?
It's the small forward. I forgot what college he's from.
Rutgers?
Yeah.
That's the 6'10" dude. Yes.
Ace Bailey. Yeah, he's good. He's for sure good.
But yeah, as we see here, just reviewing this for the Lakers, they don't have a first round pick this season. They got
Nor in 27.
they got second
Nor in
round.
29. Okay.
Sam, they
They
have
don't have any picks in 27. Okay.
nope.
Well, like we've discussed, what's the Lakers' future the next couple of years? Not much.
And literally their picks for 2025 went to Atlanta. 2026 went their second round pick went to Toronto. The first round pick in 2027 went to Utah.
And second round pick goes to Brooklyn.
And then 2028 goes to Orlando or Washington. 2029 went to Dallas.
Jeez.
I think that was part of the Luka trick. And in 2029, they don't have no more second round picks. They gave it to Washington and then 2 more to Brooklyn.
But then after that, things start to look better, because honestly, LeBron is not going to play until he's 50.
No, he has at least one more year.
So I think he has a couple. If he wins, he definitely will find a way to play another year. He
With
wants
that
to, like,
groin,
Yep.
nah.
But again, Mo, we had that thing up on the screen. What do they have signed up for 2 years from now? They've got nothing.
Yeah, but you look at it. See, if you're looking at it like GM, you don't have any picks, but what you do have is money coming off the books.
Right.
So you will have LeBron James. Let's say LeBron.
There's always going to be room for a star on the Lakers.
Well, they have Luka right now, so it's just a question of whether or not they. I don't think the Lakers can afford. I don't think they have a billionaire as an owner. I think they have the buses as an owner. This is a business for them. So, so I don't think they can afford to keep paying their luxury tax. Is what I'm saying. So they're gonna have to eventually drop some money, and so LeBron is going to eventually get dropped. I would say in 2 years max. I don't see them trading him away. That would be kind of kiss of death from free agency's perspective.
Well, then for at least 2 years, the Lakers aren't going to win anything.
Yay! No, this is.
I
why
mean, this
I'm
is a
going like
long
this.
term.
Yeah, I'm like, this is great.
I mean, I think the Lakers are on a 5-year plan not to win anything.
Which is going to irritate Luka. Which, if Luka knows this, may lead to quick money being on the books. If he knows LeBron's going to be around for a couple of years and he knows the type of defense LeBron plays, he knows he ain't going to be winning anything anytime soon.
The problem is there's only maybe 4 teams that could pay him that contract in the entire league. I mean,
LeBron or Luka?
Luka, his extension is coming up.
Yeah,
Chicago could afford to do it.
not at all.
Well, you could afford to do anything when you have Zach LaVine and DeMar on the same team. So.
Uh,
Well, they're in Sacramento.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
They got traded away. Yeah,
I think that'll work.
Giddy's in Chicago, and they have a rookie that people like. So having
Kobe White. Oh, Kobe White.
the dude, the Lithuanian dude.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, you can. Chicago has. I think they have. Kobe White is a 6'4" guard who's playing for a contract. But if Chicago is smart, they can afford Luka, and Luka probably would fit into that culture because I think Chicago is pretty diverse. Probably fit better there than he did in Dallas, by the way. See, there you go. Second pick.
You know,
Good offer.
I was just looking at Cooper Flag.
We're making a trade.
Yeah.
Is he a little bit light?
He's a little. He's 18.
Weight-wise.
He's 18, going on 19.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Oh, all
Going on
right.
18?
I forgot that part.
Yeah. So he's young.
All right.
Oh, yeah, he's a young
He's got to
kid.
fill out then.
Yeah. So he's listed 6'8". He has a good shot at getting to 6'10", 240, maybe 250. If he works hard, he'll definitely be 250.
I think.
Yeah. No, I forgot he was.
Yeah, he's
How
pretty
young he was.
I mean, you have 12, 15 years with this kid. It's great for Dallas. Mock draft. It'd be insane for Dallas to give up on. He's the jewel of the draft. So it would be weird for them to bypass him.
I've been a proponent for either 2 options. One, and people have called me crazy for this, 3 years ago. I've always envisioned Giannis being on the Spurs just because of the European ties. Forward presence is necessary. We always have a center on deck. So I would see us trading away our second pick, to be able to obtain Giannis, which wouldn't surprise me at all. We need to win now while Pop is, still present.
Oh, Pop retired.
Right. But
Officially, yeah. He's in basketball operation.
or, the second option is, hey, if Nico Harrison or whatever his name is wants to run it back and, do another oopsie, who's to say we couldn't use De'Aaron Fox as collateral, give him a guard that they need. Kyrie just tore his Achilles. We're good in the guard department. We just had the reigning rookie of the year, average 16 points a game. And go and get Cooper Flag. And, we're set for the next 10. So
How old is, Mo Punches from Carson though, but how old is De'Aaron Fox?
I think it's around 27, 28.
How old is Cooper Flag? 18. You get 9 more years out of Cooper Flag. You get 6'10".
But Dallas just proved that they don't think. So this is perfect.
There's you from Boston. You got to remember, Dallas is now owned by a casino operator. Okay? And by a money manager, because the son-in-law is running the team.
Right.
So they're going to be looking at it like a banker.
But that's
Like a
that's
trader.
But that's a positive for Cooper Flag because he's going to have 4 years on a rookie salary. So that helps Dallas. from a money perspective.
But when in history,
Not if the big picture is to move gambling to Dallas.
Oh, that's if y'all trade the pick to Milwaukee. And this is
yeah, that's what I was just saying. We
which
trade
is-
away our pick. Yeah. Oh, look, that's on the mock.
that's
Oh, there you go.
That's a mock trade.
Good job, CBS.
And that's more than likely
That would make sense.
that
That would make sense. That's the only thing about this pick that makes it. Because I'm like,
I said it. I was like,
Because
trade away
this
our
is
pick,
a
get Giannis,
scenario
win a championship.
for Spurs to get Giannis. Is if they trade the actual first round pick.
Yeah, then we'll have like 5 different accents on the team. It's fine. Like, fine with me.
but you will fill every position you need filled. You have a championship. You have a guy with the championship on the team. You have a guy who's motivated to win another championship
Oh,
on
that's
the team.
that's a championship team. For sure.
and plus this makes
No one's stopping.
this makes the West a lot more dangerous.
Oh my God,
That's
this makes
twin.
the West
That's
insane.
that's Twin Towers part 2.
Yes, it is. Because Giannis at 6'10", you have Wemby at 7'4".
6.
Oh my God.
Giannis
insane.
and Wemby, the only
If Wemby
thing,
can find a way to stay healthy.
right? Literally, if they're able to keep Wemby on the court, like that Spurs lineup is a problem because it's a matchup nightmare.
Yeah, we have way too much lane.
Yeah. So Ace Bailey going to.
I don't see that happening at all. They need to get rid of Paul George. He has way too much money on the books.
But they have to trade him away.
They have to trade him away because they.
And he has, 2 more years on his contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. It messes up his development. That's a player that you play now.
Well, he's not playing. Paul George is injured. It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah. You don't worry
Yeah,
about his injury.
he just had surgery. Like, actually, not.
So wait, hold on. So they have to keep paying him the contract, but they can't
Yes.
trade him because he's under injury clause.
Yes.
Who owns the Sixers?
Whoever it is
Is that the dude that throws the white parties? Where
Did
No.
No.
The white T-shirt parties. You know what
I
I'm
don't
talking
know.
No.
Michael Rubin.
Hold on. You talking about the owner?
about? Yeah, who's the dude that owns? He throws the little white T-shirt parties.
Hold on. You talking about the all white parties? John Harris.
No. Wait, what is that? Prompt. No, the owner of the 76ers, not Paul George.
Yeah, he's the owner of 76.
I thought that was Michael Rubin.
No.
Michael Rubin doesn't own a share?
Let me look up Michael Rubin now. Michael Rubin.
I thought he was part owner of the 76ers.
Doesn't look like he's majority. He is the guy with the white T-shirts, but he's not the majority owner.
Yeah, he's the guy that always does humiliation rituals with the athletes.
He runs Fanatics.
Swear he has a look. Oh wait,
I
that
got
drop
no
down.
idea who he is, huh?
What's that drop down say? Does Michael Rubin?
On a sports team.
Yeah, right there. Click that.
We're doing this live.
Oh, minority.
Minority owner, yeah.
A prominent member of the Sixers is selling his stakes to Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment Company that owns the sister
And the New Jersey Devils.
announced Wednesday.
Yeah, that's over.
When did this happen?
Yeah, that's never gonna be a good thing.
This happened June 22nd, so that had to been last year.
How is this not collusion? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it could definitely be seen as collusion. It's suspicious. It's suspicious, but
Yeah, but these new cap rules and everything are going to make a big deal in the next couple of years.
Right. That makes sense.
Because basically, we were discussing in previous shows, Boston's got a $500 million liability next year with new owners.
yeah,
So Porzingis has to go. They don't have
Vegas
to
has to go, and
yes, he'll
because he's $30 million
he'll be
in,
the
with the
first
cap
one
hit.
out the door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Literally, Porzingis will be the first one out.
I'll take him.
he's got to be. But I don't know how sick Porzingis is.
I mean,
You from Boston, he's got that respiratory thing, and
more
there's
more
I
than
think
like-
more problems there than people are aware of.
and more than likely, like this is something that he suffered. He's been dealing with for months now, supposedly. Hopefully not longer, but literally, like those type of symptoms sound very similar to the aftermath of COVID because
Don't
Yes.
call COVID. Yes.
Yeah, it does.
because literally with post COVID, like you have difficulty breathing,
and just like everything within your body is just messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you're right, Rashid. It sounds just like COVID, but he's got something that's respiratory.
Yes.
And who knows how bad it is.
That's how Aaron Gordon got his blood back.
yeah. But as far as just, but yeah, Aaron Gordon got that black eye. I don't know how he got that black eye during the whole Clippers series, but the fact that he played with that grade 2 hamstring strain. But I think the difference that people are trying to say, well, if Gordon can play with a hamstring strain and not Curry with a grade 1, I think the main difference people have to look at is the fact of, one, Curry, he's a predominant, he's a point guard compared to Aaron Gordon, who is a small forward, power forward.
Oh, shit.
That
Glad it wasn't me.
yeah, glad it wasn't any of us, because that looked painful.
You sure that was real? I mean, a fake?
I mean,
She has a concussion for sure.
literally, when you hit the back of your head like that, when you got knees
6 feet
knees
up?
on your chest, that's not a comfortable landing, even if it's padded.
Okay, but if you're a primary offensive player, he runs around too. Aaron Gordon is not someone who necessarily runs around a lot.
Right. So it's like, you know,
Screw it. If I was Steph Curry, I still would have played.
I wouldn't be as mobile. I wouldn't be as
I'm still playing.
yeah. Yeah, because literally your team actually needed you.
Thank you.
Even if you like were able to even score less, and like he probably would have scored less, but having his presence on the court would have been a deterrent for what Minnesota would have been able to do. Because literally him not being on the court, you focus in on Jimmy Butler, which is what they did, and we saw how that played out with Minnesota in 5. Because literally they won the first game with Curry and didn't win no other game.
Right.
So when
Yeah, it's become a battle of ownership more than ever. I mean,
yeah, because
just from my perspective.
literally it comes down to, can you build a better team during the off season, and can you make moves during the during the regular season before the trade deadline to make yourself a championship caliber team. We had many championship caliber teams, but it's just like literally mistakes and injuries play a huge part during the actual season, and especially during the playoffs, where we've always had the argument on whether or not they should shorten the season, which probably won't happen, or I would say take away the like in-season tournament. That seems kind of pointless to me at this point. Like, people talk about, oh, it's rating. It's like, well, at this point, you're sacrificing your players for ratings, trying to juice out more games out of.
Okay, but more punches from Carson. I know this argument is, well, the players are faster, bigger, stronger, but you had players playing all 82 games 30 years ago. Kobe played, I think, all 82 games a couple times. If you want to play, you play.
Right.
And so this contention that you can't play all, and actually they've adjusted the schedule. They've extended the schedule. They start earlier, they end later. So you have more rest in between, and players still don't play all 82 games. So people were playing with injuries. Michael Jordan has a blown out knee now because they value actually playing the game. My contention is not so much they can't play, it's that they don't want to injure their brand, or they don't want to injure themselves enough to actually show up. It's like when Vince Carter had a chance to play in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he decided he's going to go to his college graduation.
Right, and it's like, you know,
Oh, you weren't around.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah, game 6. He was playing against Allen Iverson, and he had a chance to close it out. It was either game 6 or game 7. I'm not sure which one. I think they were still in the series, even though he didn't show up. And he decided to go to his college graduation for that game. They end up losing the series. And you're sitting there like, I know it's a once-in-a-lifetime event for Vince. You never made it to the finals. So guess what's an even bigger once-in-a-lifetime event? Making it to the end. And that was the year that Philly played LA in the finals.
The question is,
It was
what
2001.
was the degree in?
It was a degree of contempt because that's what I got for him after that. It's like
in Afro-American Studies. It was a degree in Afro-American Studies in 2001. It was a Game 7.
it was Game 7 then.
It was on the morning of the Game 7 of the Rapid Playoff game series against the Sixers. When he left the ceremony early to fly to Philadelphia for the game, the timing and his subsequent performances were met with significant criticism.
As I would,
So he valued that degree more than he did his professional career.
Literally,
ownership,
Literally,
tickets,
they would
fans.
mail him his degree. You can get
He could walk. He could have walked the next year if he really wanted.
I
They
mean,
would've
but
done it.
it's like literally
you could have walked the semester before.
Thank you.
the degree is a formality because I'm sorry, walking is
a formality.
It is a formality.
But guess what's not a
You
formality?
can go to the office and pick up your degree. You don't have to walk. The walk is just a ceremony.
But guess what's not a formality? Scoring 40 in Game 7.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so this was maybe the beginning of the end when it came to like people actually valuing the fact that they were professional basketball players, because you had Vincent, Kobe Bryant. I never argue because Kobe literally would die on the court. But there were so many people who valued something else other than actually performing on the court. So I don't argue. Yeah, they're not going to reduce the number of games
and this
because
is-
it's too much money involved.
Right, and this is where you have the lapse that most people miss nowadays. Where I'm sure since 2020, we haven't had a truly bought out championship team. You look back to the Bucks in 21, the Warriors in 22, 2023 you had the Nuggets, 2024 you had the Celtics. All of those are homegrown. Don't be surprised if you have OKC make the same run, because the incentive prior to the whole COVID situation, where players got the luxury of the choosing power, was, hey, I earned this contract, therefore the loyalty isn't necessary at that point, right? When you get to that turning point of where the players realize that they have power, how do you incentivize now the players to actually care about the game when they just made a decision that has been so prevalent that the power was comparable to the lockout in 2011?
I have a counter.
You only see fruitions of that, through, showing them some form of loyalty, and maybe you can build incentives through that. So
My counter to that is Patrick Mahomes. It's Magic Johnson who did it 20 years earlier, where he sees, hey, if I'm in the finals, I'm gonna make a lot of money during that run. Advertisements, people are gonna want my face on their advertisements. So I'm bright enough to realize if I have a great team, even though I'm the best player on that team, if I have a great team, I'm gonna more than offset the money I'm gonna lose. And realistically, yeah, you can have a $50 million contract, but if I have two $20 million endorsement deals,
hey,
yeah, or more,
Well,
I'll
isn't
make
that
the money up.
Hugh from Boston? Isn't that what LeBron's doing now?
that's what
No,
Brunson did.
he's maximizing his money and trying to get the endorsement deal. So he's crippling his team. That's exactly
Right.
it.
But his team is fairly irrelevant to him.
Yes. And so that's my point. There are some guys who actually want to win. And so I don't go out of my way to say, there's some people you're not going to argue. Like when Michael Jordan got his $30 million contract, the first of two, no one in the NBA looked, no one blinked because he'd been underpaid for a decade.
Right.
Steph Curry, when he got his contract, no one blinked.
Right.
Because he'd been underpaid for so many. He was underpaid even when he got his second contract because he was injured so much.
Yeah.
And so they paid Dre, they paid Clay. And so when he got his third contract, no one blinked. But if you really want your team to be relevant, and this sounds bad because, hey, this is as a professional, hey, you should take less money for your company. It's like, it's a little bit different situation, but okay. But if you really want your team to be relevant, then you kind of sacrifice.
Right.
And you can tell, I personally wouldn't chase guys like James Harden. He's a money grab. I'm not chasing him. He's shown me I'm not interested in winning. I'm just interested in grabbing as much money as I can.
Right.
Paul George, it's a money grab. So, yeah. LeBron James is a money grab. I'm sorry. He wants to get the players he can get. So he wants you to sacrifice every potential way. He wants you to handicap your team. And this is why he jumps teams, because he eventually puts every team where he is into a financial bind.
Right.
Yep.
It's unavoidable.
And
Yeah.
eventually what people aren't thinking of, Hugh from Boston, what about the fans?
Right.
What about-
goes back to Mo's point? Like when you talk about the dynamic versus negotiating a contract with a company, you're you're a cog in maybe, assuming it's a large cap, 2,000 people, and it's all contingent on, what kind of, contracts the company in itself secures outside of the employment of the people. That's still going to be there prior to your presence and after your presence. With players, those 11 that show up on the TV is the entire valuation of that team. You get the wrong guy in there, it's over, So it's pretty much the whole.
Well, Hugh from Boston, I'm trying to remember, but I think when Larry Bird retired, he could have waited 10 days to get an extra $10 million.
And he went off the books.
And he just said, no, thank you. I wasn't going to earn it. He walked away.
I remember that because he cared about his team.
That's correct.
So he's like, I'll give up the $10 million so you guys can sign someone.
That's right.
Hey, who knew Len Bias was going to be an idiot?
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah, but that's why Len Bias was so important, because he was
was
going to be
the bridge.
another homegrown person.
Yeah, he was going to be the bridge. And so, yeah. So me personally, if I'm more like Greg Popovich. Hey, Kawhi, you really want to leave? Okay, fine. We're gonna learn to live without you. You're gonna learn how much you depended upon us, basically. And Kawhi, I think, has kind of learned that lesson. Because he's never been the same player since. He got lucky that Golden State not only got Durant injured, but Denny Green was also willing to go and assassinate Klay Thompson. So they took out two of their top four players.
Same series.
In the same series, yes. So they got really, really lucky.
Well, trying to further this, what like you and Mo were saying, Mackay, should they really just be worried about themselves, one of the 11 players, 12 players, and just say, screw the fans, screw the team, just go off and take care of yourself?
If they had foresight, yes, but you got to remember, most of the majority of these people who are in the league have never worked a normal job. Like, they're sheltered. They
haven't done anything normal since they were probably 4 years old.
Right.
Absolutely.
They don't understand the natural spice that come from, dealing with bad management. When you have that incentive that's rolling in, do you really care about how you're getting treated? Probably not. I mean, there's no perspective on the real world going in. These are sheltered children. There is arrested development in play.
Which is worse since it's 1 and out.
Right. And
Much worse.
oh, you have the wrong parents, it's over. So I think if, a large conglomerate of these individuals that are coming into the league were given the proper guidance, but how do you guide that? That's the thing. You're seen as the gladiators of Earth. There's no one out there to give you guidance if the veteran on your team is, at the strip club more than
James
Harden?
with his child.
Everybody knew.
Right.
Hey, I know where to, Hugh from
find
Boston,
James
I know where to find James Harden. That's where
Right.
he's been many years.
Right. Or you get drafted to ATL, you're at Lou Willville every 2 weeks. It's over. You know what I
Lemon
mean?
pepper wings.
Right. No shame in it, but man, I'd hate to
But
be a
I
big
think
market.
that's part of your choice. And look at what Presti does in OKC. Because quality is
There's
a
no-
part of your player, with the player you're getting. So everyone on that team is committed to actually winning.
Right.
That's the one thing I can say about OKC.
Right. The
I
highest
don't-
form of entertainment out there is a natural disaster.
Or what, cow tipping. So anyway,
Yeah, but Mo, in a couple of years, and if they become successful, then it's going to be a problem to continue that success because everything's going to go to everybody's head.
but that's just it. So does Presti then go through and is he Jerry West? Does he go through and find that next guy to fill the void on the guy who's going to walk away? And so that's what I think is largely going to happen because Hardenstein is going to be too valuable. So he's going to.
Oh, so
Yeah. But there's opportunities on that team to fill some of those voids. And he seems to have guys like the starting two guard was not starting last year. They had Isaiah Joe as a starting two guard. And Isaiah Joe showed, I can't handle pressure. And so now they're starting the kid who was a rookie last year, 6'3" kid. So it's like, yeah. So, and then they went and grabbed the guy who was a steal. They went and grabbed Caruso,
Oh,
who was a steal. Those are just great decisions.
Yep.
So yeah. Oh, he was showing the score, by the way.
Oh,
And so
I
yeah. So I think they look and see, hey, we want people, because when people come to this game, this is one of the few times they're going to have a chance to be entertained. So we want people who value this opportunity.
Right.
And that's why I look at the Clippers, and that's why I didn't watch a lot of Clipper games, because I'm like, you're showing me you don't really care about this product.
Right.
Because you have guys on this team who historically have shown they don't care. So I know with James Harden, there's only so much you can expect from him. I know with Norman Powell, no. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm not telling you to spin yourself into oblivion, but one way you could avoid doing that is by not giving James Harden a $30 million contract.
Right.
And just eating this year, and then coming back next year and reloading. That would have been the better move. So that's why I say you can do this, but it's not by forcing guys who don't care to try to care. I don't do this at my job. If I find out you don't care, I try to get rid of you.
Right. It's a fight for relevancy. I mean, we go back to the point that I made about, casinos taking ownership. It's bad for business because there's certain nuances to the game that somebody who's outside of the game, someone who isn't a connoisseur of the game, they don't understand
Here's the score.
chemistry. They don't understand role. They just see the big names. The moment I saw Steve Ballmer say, yes, when he signed Kawhi and James Harden together, those are practically the same player with a different shot. That's a problem. Like a casino company coming in, they would be the type to pair LeBron with Anunoby and give me another 4, Josh Hart, and call it a day. It's like, what are we doing? They're all facilitators in some way. And so I don't
And they have another goal.
Right, and that's back in, so
There we go.
they're sacrificing the success of the team for their own personal benefit, and that's why the Spurs are going to get Cooper Flag.
Well, with all due respect, the guy who's running the Mavericks now is a fairly young guy.
Okay.
And I don't know what the ownership's like, except that, who was it? Adelson. Marvin Adelson. He died, and the team was left to his wife. Not the team, the casino. Okay. And all of the money is his wife. Well, unfortunately, his wife's my age. So there's going to be a change there, and maybe the son-in-law might not be running as much as he thinks he will be.
Right. Yes.
Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, that looked painful.
Oh my gosh, she got dropped on her head again.
That.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Must not be much up in there in that head.
Probably
I hit
not.
that often. Oh my gosh, he fell.
I mean, like.
So yeah.
That was supposed to be a small package. That was a painful-looking small package.
Yeah, keep me away from these chicks.
No joke.
Yeah. Mercedes Moné, you are dangerous to work with, girl. Dangerous from your days in WWE as Sasha Banks. Jesus, congrats with Mercedes Moné, Owen Hart champion.
Why did they move to AEW?
AEW is a different option.
It's not like a secondary league. I mean, it's not a development league.
No, in fact, it's the competition to. It's supposed to be the competition to WWE.
Oh, it's like the ABA.
Yeah. Look at that, and boom! Oh, jeez. Again, supposed to be a small package, but you turn that into a DDT. Jesus.
Oh god. Yeah. So that's my pace to take on that. I think Ballmer needs to think basketball. I personally, as a basketball fan, cannot watch the Clippers.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay. So for right now, we're gonna go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Laker Haters talk.
Hanging out with Johnny and Cheryl. Johnny and Cheryl. I'm hanging out with Cheryl, Johnny and Cheryl. We're hanging. Johnny and Cheryl, 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 hanging. Johnny and Cheryl, Cheryl and Johnny and Cheryl.
My name is Robert Malik. I'm a member of the Earl Gardner Veterans Group. We're a veterans group that helps veterans get service-connected compensation. We say, are you a veteran of the U.S. military? Then get benefits and financial compensation. Did you serve during the Vietnam, Iraq, Kuwait, Afghanistan wars, or even the Korean War or World War II? You can act now. You are suffering from PTSD and you need counseling. You are losing VA benefits because you are eligible for financial compensation. Come to a PTSD meeting of vets to find out what you're missing. We meet 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. Where? At the Inglewood Community Center, 2640B Imperial Highway, directly across from the U.S. Post Office at the corner of Crenshaw and Imperial. Or call 323-291-1517 or 323-559-8196. We're here to help. We're veterans helping veterans. Thank you.
Dr. Sebi was a world-renowned herbalist who cured many diseases with his holistic approach to nutrition and herbs over the last 50-plus years. Dr. Sebi formulated African biomineral herbal products that cleanse and nourish the body on a cellular level. His products, in conjunction with his nutritional guide, support the body's natural ability to regenerate and heal. Dr. Sebi proved that his formulas can reverse disease. And in 1988, through the state of New York Supreme Court, Dr. Sebi's products were classified as natural vegetation cell food by Lancaster Labs. Dr. Sebi believed that the root cause of all disease was mucus. Thus, disease manifests itself in the body where mucus has accumulated. Disease only lives in an acidic environment. Dr. Sebi's products help cleanse the body by extracting mucus, and they nourish the body by providing minerals and nutrients on a cellular level. His nutritional guide promotes an alkaline environment in the body to support the healing process and achieve optimum health. None of this information is intended to replace any program that your medical doctor has prescribed for you. You may contact them at 310-838-2490. That's 310-838-2490. Their hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., and their lunch hour is from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. Visit the website at www.drsabiscellfood.com for more information.
All right, thank you very much. So, again, that address is 2807 La Cienega Avenue. That's 2 streets west of La Cienega Boulevard. 310-838-2490. You can also go on the website, drsabiscellfood.com. That's drsabiscellfood.com. And then, if anything, their hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. So now we're once again back with Laker Haters Only. Shout outs to Mama Garner. She called in just to let everybody know that she is okay and that she is listening to the broadcast. So right now we are tuning in live to the Indiana and New York game. Right now, Brunson is back at the free throw line shooting 2. Score is 24-22. Indiana with about 1:10 left in the first quarter. This is again a home game for Indiana. Just wanted to clarify that. We have a large substitution. Halliburton is going to the bench.
Side change.
Yeah, slight change. At least get him a break before they go into the second quarter. Anyone has comments?
No punches from Carson. One observation is Indiana is a small market team, much like OKC. But unlike LA, kind of shows how this can work. I don't necessarily have to have the biggest star, I guess you can argue, Siakam, I'd say Halliburton. But not the biggest, not top 10. But if you have 9 guys who can play the system, you can have a pretty good team.
Jump shot.
Just you from Boston, but with the LA fans appreciate that. Well, they're just looking for the big star.
oh, that's a flop. Maybe the Lakers won't, but the Clippers would. Here's more of an argument for Ballmer.
Okay, all right, no,
Because it's like, hey,
I was thinking only Lakers.
yeah. So I did say LA just to be so I can include the Clippers, because that was a mistake on Ballmer's part, as Makai said, to actually build a team around guys who are basically the same. The Lakers, I want them to continue to chase stupidity. Yes.
It's lack of hierarchy. There needs to be a level of respect within the system of your higher ups. The coaches cannot be buddy with the players.
Right.
When has that ever worked for a championship run? Please, somebody explain it. I mean,
So actually, I have a no offense for Carson. Okay, so tell me if I'm wrong, but Westphal was the coach of the Lakers in '79.
He was
And
a
I
coach
thought
at some
Magic.
point in time.
I thought Magic liked Pat Riley, and so Pat Riley got that job. I thought because Magic liked him.
Could have, I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
I don't
we
remember.
need a Laker fan to confirm this.
Yeah.
But yeah, because
I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, and I'm not close enough.
Hold on, let me see if I can look up.
Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna see the coaching change.
Let me see.
It's just a question of what motivated the change. Yeah.
Let me see.
Did that guy get hurt?
Riley, Lakers coach.
Westphal?
Yeah. Did he get hurt? Somebody got hurt riding a bicycle.
Yeah, so he was a assistant.
Right. So yeah, he started.
Right, but what was Westfall?
I think he was the coach before Riley. So, but yeah.
I guess, I'm sorry, I just got something in my memory of somebody falling off a bicycle, and I thought it was
I thought
Westfall.
that was Al Pacino.
Yeah, he looks kind of scuzzy. So, but yeah, I think the Lakers have a long history of these dangerous liaisons. Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
So yeah,
She's the
Genie.
lead. She's the
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Backed his way into being a coach. I mean, he wanted to be a coach. You know, what happened was he was the color commentator with Chick Hearn on the broadcast. We had hired a coach who had an accident at the start of the season. So his assistant coach had to take over for him. And at that time, you only had one assistant coach. This was the olden days. They needed to fill the assistant coach spot. So Paul Westhead said, how about Pat Riley? Because he's been with the team. He's watched practice. He was at training camp. He would be a good fill-in. So Pat became the assistant coach under Westhead. We won a championship that year, but then Westhead wanted to change the offense. Magic Johnson didn't like that. Westhead was let go, and Pat Riley became the head coach. And I'll never forget because, you know, I'd known Pat when he was, you know, just the radio guy. I was walking down the hallway one day, and his nickname was Riles. Like, that's what you call him. Like, hey, Riles. He stopped me. He said, call me coach. I'm coach now. And that's when he like started slicking back his hair. You know, like he knew, like everybody knows me as this. I have to like now command respect as the coach. So everybody needs to think of me as coach. So from then on, I called him coach.
So he went Gordon Gekko from then on.
Yep.
Slick back. Is he the best dressed guy in?
It was like he was like the most handsome, best dressed. I mean, he was LA for sure.
Freaking Pat Riley.
I'm going to give myself credit for remembering that.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
And
So-
the tradition of LA, the Lakers awarding positions based upon prior relationships, not necessarily basketball.
Thinking about that, that was 45 years ago.
Yes, it was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
I'm shocked that I remembered that relationship. But yeah, they have a history of doing stuff that doesn't necessarily make sense from a basketball perspective. As Van hinted last year, having relationships around the NBA that benefit them because not Pat Riley, but Jerry West definitely did them a solid by giving them big boy from Memphis. I forgot his name again. Paul Gasol.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
So yeah, so the Lakers have been, we will just say lucky.
Right.
I do think LeBron has a history of destroying teams post his departure. So I don't think this should be a shocker that LA is in a bad state because he did not leave Cleveland in a good state. He came back, so that helped him out. Did not leave Cleveland in a good state. Did not leave Miami in a good state.
I mean, like,
It's gonna take him a few years to recover.
I mean, I would say Miami was able to survive.
But that was how many years after LeBron left?
I think that was maybe like 2 years.
I finished middle school.
I think that was maybe like 2 years after he left that they started to actually
I don't know. That Hassan Whiteside era was bad.
That was
that was bad.
That was really bad.
Where does he play? Barbados or something?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
He played his way out of the NBA.
He's
That's the
literally
point you're
putting up
making.
numbers in freaking, and again, that's in Barbados, like you said. He's in like either the Asian League or like the European League.
The only franchise that I know that could revive 40-plus-year-old players at center is Boston. So I think.
And
it'll just stick up.
funny thing is, I would not be surprised the Lakers tried to hit him up. If they tried to hit up Whiteside.
They didn't re-sign Dwight. I never understood that. So.
Nope, and they had an opportunity to actually sign a center like a Dwight before the playoffs started. They didn't. So good job, Lakers. Good job. You could have done something, but you didn't.
Well, with Miami, didn't correct me if I'm wrong here, but Pat Riley, he made the move from coach to executive.
Yes.
In-house,
believe so, yeah.
Right. So I mean, in that instance, you're always going to have pedigree within the building. With Cleveland, you couldn't even ask me who the owner is. Like I just don't know.
Let me look that up in a second.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this thing started over here.
Cleveland win now or at the time of LeBron?
During his departure in 2018,
There was some. I think the owner was a bit off the rails.
Yeah, I'm like.
But again, it's the players. I mean, and unfortunately, what I know of you from Boston is players in Boston. For instance, how much did Tom Brady get paid
Because he had loyalty
when
to
he
the
went
He was taking pay cuts.
to Florida?
He took pay cuts with the Patriots.
I think he took big pay cuts with the Patriots, but I think he played for Florida for under $2 million,
Let me
so they
see.
could sign Gronk
Tom
and other
Brady
people around.
contract,
Holy.
with the Bucks.
I'm not saying he needed it.
Let me see. His contract with the Buccaneers was worth $50 million with the option for an additional $9 million incentive.
A 2-year deal?
Yeah, the two-year deal worth $50 million.
That's still.
That's the amount the Jets gave Le'Veon Bell. God,
All right, so
But
my
50
information is incorrect.
But $25 million for a quarterback
that's
is
insanely
cheap.
low.
Even 10 years ago, that was
Ryan Tannehill had a 3-year 100.
yeah.
Look how that went.
Like
out.
literally, like
So he's
Dak
still
Prescott was making more money than Brady.
In 1
Times
year.
2. Yeah.
Yeah, in 1 year. And so, like I said, even 10 years ago, $25 million a year for a quarterback is honestly cheap. And for a top-tier quarterback, even if he was age, that's a steal of a deal. So,
I mean, he put up his best numbers in his last year. So,
yeah. So Brady was looking out for the team or looking out for his co-player, whatever. He was looking out for Gronk.
Because
And it's like, hey.
he still got freaking, as much as we hate to say, he got Antonio Brown his ring.
oh yeah, absolutely.
But the flip side, again, Brady is the type of person who gets that the more time, the longer I'm in the playoffs, the more endorsement. And this is what players don't get. I get that you want to make money, whatever, cool, whatever. But if you make playoff runs, I was making a point about OKC. The counterpoint, I'm going to make this counterpoint about Minnesota. I'm not sure anyone on Minnesota is hyper dedicated to basketball. I know Anthony Edwards is not.
I mean, like he.
Yeah,
he
so-
I don't think he knows what he
He
wants.
can't even be.
That's a problem,
He
though.
can't even be dedicated to wrap it up and not have kids. But
That's my point. It's like, look, dude, at least do enough. Where's your focus?
I mean,
And so Larry
Rudy
Johnson-
Gobert is starting to take after him.
Well, you have a team like this. You have players like this who are not. You can definitely argue with Kobe. Look, I may play around, but I'm gonna do it in a way that's not gonna call. If it wasn't for Colorado, probably would never have known. But anyway,
Yeah, well, that
yeah.
doesn't matter. I mean, it's just. But what Kai was bringing up earlier, Anthony Edwards is what, 22? If he's been special all of his life, but if he had gone to school for 4 years or whatever, he'd be 1 year out of school. Maybe he would have learned some more. Now, Kobe get out of high school or whatever. I understand that, but he always hung around with players and his father and older brothers and whatever.
Well, he wasn't even in his home country. Like, this is that. To your point, that is such like an outlier. Like, you know, like it's rare you get a guy with that level of maturity at such a young age. But his development increased. Development. This is just a known fact. Development increases when you're away from the nest. It's just what it is, right?
Or
sure
if
he
you
was
surround
available.
yourself with better players or better spotter people, whatever.
Right.
You measure up. If you're the youngest one, and you're 3 years younger than the other people you're playing with, you will be better than your peers most of the time.
Right. You grow up in an environment where nobody speaks your language. That's gonna grow you up pretty quick. You know, like, it's hard to replicate that in the draft with that ability. That's such an outlier.
Well, you look at I think Isaiah came to the league early. I think Michael came to the league a year early. Magic came to the league after a couple of seasons. So these were 21, 20, and Magic immediately wanted to win. He'd won in the NCAA.
Yeah, but it's difficult to compare Magic and the times then and the times today.
Well, I think that's the point. That's actually the point being made. You had guys who were focused on basketball instead of social media, because we make this point, not building my brand, not doing whatever. And it's like, that's why it's really tough to have. I mean, it's weird that the top 3 players in the MVP voting, I think it was Giannis, Joker, and Shea. Okay, so it's odd that two of those got taken out. Luka got taken out because he came to the Lakers. Yay. Okay, but really, this is an odd situation for the NBA because a lot of these guys are undercooked as a consequence. Anthony Edwards, they gave up on him. He said, I don't want to be the face of the NBA. No one had Indiana doing anything, and the Knicks are the Knicks. They find ways to lose.
Yeah, but part of the problem now is the kids in college are making tons of money. Certain ones of them.
Yes.
I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. I'm not going to go there, but my point
My
is
friend
that
actually
there's
has
some
a-
big money there, and so you've got some guy on the team making $5,000 and somebody else is making $5 million. How hard do I work? Particularly when I'm 16, 17, 18, you know.
My friend in Mississippi has a good point about this, specifically with Cooper Flag, but this situation was, I think Travis Hunter, kind of had the same thing happen with his NIL. Hey, well, we can cobble together this much for NIL. Do you want to go to the pros? Look at your rookie salary scale. How much money are you going to make? So I think in Travis Hunter's case, it was close enough that he could go to the NBA. With Flag, they literally you can come back and get $14 million a year. Your rookie salary scale is going to have you earning maybe $5 million.
Yep.
And he decided, I want to play in the NBA. Why? Because he was on the Olympic team. Because it's the NBA. He wants to play. That's why I'm drafting that kid. He wants to be great. You don't have to argue. Everything you guys are saying, cool. But some guys are just different.
You're
They are
absolutely
just-
correct.
Larry Bird was different.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct.
And if I can get my hands on one of those, as much as you may hate that Luka doesn't get in shape, he wants to kill you on offense though. And so I'm like, hey,
Funny enough, someone just posted a picture of Luka
working out.
Yeah, actually looking in shape at
Yeah.
one of the games that
Because now he's not in Dallas anymore. He's in the number 2 metro area in America, not the number 9. And it's like, dude, the media is gonna pound you. You're not gonna get away with all that stuff
That's
you
right.
got away with Dallas. They're gonna pound you. Because 1, they won a championship. 2, it's LA. It's the land of liposuction. Come on, dude. You're in the wrong area. So yeah.
Get that Ozempic.
get that Ozempic, do what you got to do, but come back and be ready to go. So, but yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Look, as what I can tell you about Indiana
Keep him
is
away from Kim.
Halliburton wants to win.
Keep him away from Kim.
Yes, Halliburton wants to win, and he's the point guard on that team. And if much like Magic, if the point guard sets the mindset, then that team's gonna want to win. So that's the one that the choice that Sacramento had to make versus a 6'5" guy who can shoot and a 6'3" guy who's quick, and they chose a 6'3" guy who's quick. I'm like, okay, hope this works out for you, because you can teach someone to shoot, but some people just have it. They have a natural ability, and you will never have what Steph Curry has. You will never have what Halliburton has. So yeah, so give me a Therese Halliburton. You can take James Harden. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's my
Yeah, but Harden's been like this
for years.
Career.
That's my point. He's proven what he is. So why would I chase that? Hey, as much as you, Kobe. I mean, LeBron is LeBron, but LeBron has shown me what he's going to do to your franchise.
Yep.
I don't want him on my team. I'm sorry.
There's always a sucker.
I guess going back to it, I mean, I never had, I guess, respected Kobe because, in my opinion, he could have made the players around him better, and he could have won more because he was special. But he didn't. I mean, he's sitting there going to sue his coach.
That's tough.
You know, I mean, grow up.
I mean, they could have won when they had Gary Payton and Karl Malone. They could have won then. But antics off the court blew up that team, caused dysfunction.
Terrible shot.
To where now Shaq wants out, and he goes to Miami and immediately gets a championship with Dwayne Wade. Immediately. But
Kobe, in my opinion, Kobe gave up some championships because he was selfish.
Yes.
That's all.
But he won some because he was driven. So I can't argue that he could have won more, but I can definitely say
it's a give or take.
This, I mean, he wanted to win the way he wanted to win, and
right. I consider the way he wanted to win to be selfish.
But he also won. That's what I'm saying. He also won, and so. As opposed to, I'm sorry, as opposed to saying I'm the greatest player of all time, but I'm always looking for someone to bail me out. Kobe didn't want that. He wanted to be the guy who made the shot. He wanted to be the guy who led the team. He did not want to be the guy, hey, where's Kyrie, where's Ray Allen? He didn't want to be that guy where you debated who the man was on the team. This is one of the reasons he and Shaq did not get along.
Yeah, but Michael Jordan, I think, looked at it the same way. But after the first couple of years, realized that he needs some other teammates.
After the first 6 years? After the first 6 years? Okay. So
I mean, like, but to be fair to LeBron, let's be fair. He's not that type of player that Kobe and Jordan were. Like, those were literal killers. They were literally, they look for to have the ball in their hands at all times in order to actually facilitate. Sorry to say, LeBron's not the type of player. He's more of a facilitator. He's more of a Magic Johnson type of player, where like he's a pass first player. He's not a shoot first player. Never has been. So to put that on him, it's like okay, it's like he's not that type of player. Never has been. Okay, just take the 24-second violation then. Okay.
Yeah, but
Mo knows my problem. It's really simple. Kobe played how many years? 20?
Yes.
Yes.
And how many did he get? 5. Doesn't measure up to 11 and 13. Sorry.
All right, so we're coming down to like the last 7 minutes. Were there any last comments that anyone wants to make? Do we see Knicks coming back in this game right now? It's 42-35 Indiana at the moment with about 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Any last comments?
Go ahead, Mo.
Okay, so Mo Punch from Carson. I have a comment. I'm gonna continue the LeBron James thing. If you're not gonna be that dude, then you should be demanding that dude money, especially when you're 40. If you're not gonna be that dude, but you want to win championships, you should be willing to sacrifice.
Okay.
So LeBron has never been willing to sacrifice. He's never been willing to acknowledge any of his teammates. So you can make your arguments about Kobe, whatever, but I can at least say when they were in the Olympics, to whom did they look?
It's Curry.
This time, 20 years ago, to whom did they look? And to whom did the other team look to stop?
LeBron.
Nope.
Absolutely
not.
No, I'm sorry.
Kobe Bryant.
I'm sorry,
For
Kobe.
2 Olympics.
Sorry, Curry.
Yeah, for 2 Olympics.
Yeah.
Because they knew, you give me that shot, I'm going to take it. I may have missed 4 prior to this, but I'm going to make that last one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like, So Kobe was paid to be the dude, and I can live with that. Even though I was not necessarily a Kobe fan, I could respect that what he wanted. So that's the issue I have with LeBron, and that's the issue I have with comparisons that LeBron gets. I don't have any issue if you want to be Magic, and even Magic, Game 6 when Kareem was out, we winning this game, and he went for 42.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah. So that guy did what it took to win. LeBron finds ways to blame people for his losses. That's the point I'm making. You're not going to win unless it's a COVID year. You're not going to win with LeBron.
Right.
So, okay.
All right.
So now you can talk about New York. Yeah.
No, all right. Well, actually, I'm just going to go back to
Okay.
2 points because I can't give it up. You may or may not remember that Bill Russell won the Olympics on the winning team in '56. That's why he
Yeah,
started
but
with the
America
Celtics.
was kind of a superpower up
Yeah, but well, they were, but he couldn't play anymore.
Okay.
And he also won the 2 NIT championships in his junior and senior year
Before the NCAA.
before the NCAA.
Yeah.
So he's been a winner
His entire career.
above
Yeah.
and beyond everywhere. That's all I can say. But going back to Indiana or New York, I still think Indiana's going to win.
All right, I've been away for a while, but I'd like to see OKC and Indiana in the finals.
That would be the racetrack matchup.
Yes, sir. Let's listen. Let's
Because
watch
the
them
Pacers
run.
are literally
Let's watch
the
them run.
Pacers.
I'm going to go against the crowd and just go Indiana and Minnesota.
Okay.
Odds that Minnesota comes back in that series.
Well, there's lots of ifs.
Okay, you got 4 minutes.
Oh yeah, last
All I can
thought.
do.
I think Dallas will give us the #1 pick. They seem to be doing good with their management,
He is hoping and praying.
and somehow, some way, we'll still get Giannis. So,
Okay. More questions from Carson. I think you will get Giannis with the #2 pick and whatever packaging that the Spurs can do, because they got some players that they can sacrifice.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think you can still get Giannis because he's 33, so he's three more years. That's fair. You get Dylan Harper, cool. You're good to go.
I mean, y'all eat that contract. That's fine.
Yeah, we're not paying anybody.
Yeah, so they have more than enough money. San Antonio has more than enough.
Okay. Listen, this is the last show of the season, man. I had to cut it short for whatever reason. So I thank you all for being a part of it, man.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you,
and Bob.
Mo Punch, Makai, you're good.
Fan
Rashid,
and spirit, yeah.
thank you for holding everything down.
Not a problem.
And I think in a couple of weeks I'm gonna start a brand new format, man. And since we still have the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do something special on this YouTube channel, man. I'll keep everybody abreast of where I'm going with this. This is gonna be fucking crazy, man. So I got this idea that I think is gonna go somewhere. So, like all the rest of my ideas.
That's right. You're the man of ideas, Johnny. You've been that for how many years I know you now? 30, 35?
Yes.
Close to it.
Yes. Thank you.
So,
All right. So let's get on up out of here. Don't forget, life is good in Inglewood, and that's all we can say, man. It's always like that in Inglewood, California. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Oh, life is good in Inglewood. God has blessed our neighborhood. So let's celebrate in the city of champions.
Inglewood, y'all.
Sitting on the Market Street corner on a quest, searching through the city trying to get my eyes at rest. Found myself a prayer with the Rams approaching every pair of tickets. Get me to the stadium to see the best. If you say we just a city, that's an understatement. I see potential come to life and I appreciate it. I see the neighborhood steady overlooked, coming up from a blank canvas. We got the pen and paper.
Would y'all?